Our task was to talk about how we can measure a school's success. I think our room pretty well agreed that we're tired of and I think you'll probably agree, of the pencil paper test, AYP, as being the only measure of how our schools, we end up in the papers, whether or not we passed AYP. It leads sometimes, not always, but sometimes to schools teaching to tests and forgetting about the critical thinking, the problem-solving skills, and those skill sets that are so important for a student to succeed. So I have a whole page of ideas here that I need to get accomplished in 3 minutes. And some of those ideas were to include student retention as a way to measure a school's success, whether or not these students can apply real-world situations, whether they can handle those type of applications. Community involvement in the schools. That's a good indicator whether or not the school's doing a good job, whether they tap into the community resources to help. Also, whether or not the students in the school gets involved within the community as well. Service projects, that there is cooperation within the school and the community to get things done. There's so many resources out there, and we're not always very good at tapping into those things. The parental support, which we all know is huge, but whether or not schools are able to involve parents in a productive manner, in a positive manner, and make them partners in the education process. Many times it's very difficult, I think, to maybe to get parents involved, maybe sometimes to find the parents. But the more inroads we make in that regard, the better off our schools will be. We also talked quite a bit about what our instructional practices are within the school. It's what Edward's talking about. Are we still all about lecture? Are we still about just regurgitating? Is it still about how the teacher's teaching, or is it about how the students are learning? Are we really taking into consideration all the different learning styles, or are we just simply still in that old-fashioned, lecture, some discussion, take notes, now give it back to me on a paper test, a pencil and paper test. So we have to look at those. How is your school? How's your school going about its instructional practices? And who's making those judgments? Is there continual growth in your school? Or is your school pretty much stayed the same? Or do they continue to make moves to grow? Whether it's the use of technology, whether it's the use of different educational practices, but that could be a way to measure a school's success as well. Character education, we talked about quite a bit, and that maybe that should be a part of a school's success is the integrity of the students. We realize that perhaps that is the home's job, but we also realize that may be not getting done, and we have to partner with the parents as far as that's concerned, and include character education as part of our goals. One of the last comments that was made, and I'm going to jump there, was that there was a very strong belief that we need to include the students in this discussion. And we did have some students in our room, but more than anything, we had a guidance counselor who made the comment that the students know what works for them better than anybody. And we should include them in this discussion on how they learn the best and what makes their school successful. And when they graduate, are we keeping up with them? Are we finding out how they've done in college? Are we finding out how they've done in their career? And what could have helped them more in our schools? Have them back, ask them those questions. Ask them the questions while they are in school. So we need to include them in this dialogue. Teacher training, I hope I haven't said that yet, but teacher training to keep updated with the latest methods, with the new ideas, making teachers more comfortable, creating lifelong learners in the education field with the faculty, with administrators, and with students. If your school is able to do that, if they're able to create a love of learning throughout the building, then you have a successful school. You've really done your job. time, there's so much more. All right, thank you.